able to set the fastest race lap as well. How are we looking for today?
Yeah, we're looking good. I mean, there have been a few balance of result changes overnight, which may affect it. But other than that, the car's strong, I'm strong, and we're going to give it 110%.
Looking for lucky number 7 here today for Ian James in the Panos.
All right, we got our Motul Pole Award interview win, and Ian James looking forward to doubling up here and completing the sweep. I have a feeling, though, that guy just to the left of the screen here in that red MBRP Power Sports crossbow, I think he learned a lot yesterday, and I think he's got a little bit left.
Yeah, the pressure's off. He'd gone all season long, despite being third in points, Greg. He hadn't had a podium finish, and he finally got that with a great runner-up charge yesterday. Actually started to close in on that gap to the front car, Ian James, towards the end of the 50 minutes. So if he can tweak on that crossbow a little bit, maybe he'll be a bit stronger here for day 2.
And, of course, there's some other great stories down on this good-looking grid. And down amongst them is Jeff Lepper. Jeff, what's up?
Well, thanks, Greg. Obviously, with the championship clinched up by Lawson Aschenbach, it's going to be no holds barred for this race win today. Watch for Parker Chase. Once again, Martin Barkey, great run yesterday. He was coming on strong at the end. Those changes that our Motul Pole Award winner Ian James mentioned, that might affect him later on in this race. Well, I think we're ready to get things started here, guys, and to give the command here from Pirelli Tire, Matteo Braga.
On behalf of Optima Batteries and Pirelli, piloti, accendete I motori. Drivers, start your engine.
And this field coming to life, such wonderful variety in this class. Unmistakable, though, when that Panos fires up with that big V8 in it and that rumble starts. Absolutely great sound. Great to have the folks from Pirelli here for this finale of the weekend as our Cadillac ATS-V sets out for its final time this season to bring the field around for what today will be a standing start. Looking forward to that one as we get going here. So this is truly a formation lap. Big thanks to Cadillac because they also provide us this vehicle, our Cadillac Escalade, the official medical vehicle of the championship. Great partnership with them for some time. Cal, let's take a look at our Pirelli keys to victory. The first one has to be manufacturers on point. Man, there's still something to race for sure.
Well, at one point this season, Chevy had a 30-plus lead, Greg, but right now it's down to just 7 after the Panos taking the victory yesterday. So they leap ahead of Porsche. Now, if Ian James can sweep this weekend, he's already got the bonus point for the pole position. That would mean that Lawson Aschenbach or a Chevrolet would have to finish in the top 6, and he just swept that yesterday. It's going to be very tight at the end of the day.
Absolutely, and also we want to mention and talk about going out strong, and that really applies in a lot of different ways, doesn't it?
Oh, there could be a real shake-up. Yes, Lawson Aschenbach has clinched his 5th Pirelli World Challenge Championship crown, but the battle behind him, anything can happen up in the top 5 today.
Absolutely, and in the GTSA category, the battle for second flip-flop. Yesterday coming in, Tony Gaples led Mark Clennon by 1 point. After an interesting finish in the last lap, it ends up now Clennon leading Gaples by 1 in their battle for second. And, of course, last race of the season, nothing gets you in a better mood for the offseason and gets you able to really prepare for the next season better than a win. So that's always the carrot dangling out there.
Celebrations tonight at the banquet, and you'd love to be toasting a nice victory.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a guy who's toasting a 5th championship, 3rd in GTS, but 5th overall. That puts him in incredibly august company. Only Michael Galati has 5. Only one guy has more than that, and that's Peter Cunningham, who's got the all-time record in that. So pretty impressive here for, again, Lawson Aschenbach. It doesn't matter. He can get a win, win a championship with a slew of wins. He can win it with 1. He knows how to win those championships.
Yeah, he just has the knack for doing it. He recognizes the long game and the big picture and picks up points. Even if he can't win, he maximizes every single weekend.
And another guy to watch is going to be Derek DeBoer, who won in the GTSA category yesterday. His best lap put him in 6th. He was racy at the end, ended up finishing 4th overall. So I think he's going to be somebody to watch for, too. So we're going to pause real quick. When we come back, we will get this season finale of the Pirelli World Challenge GTS Championship underway. Don't go anywhere. As you see, the Cadillac ATS VR into the pit lane, and Ian James bringing this field around to take up their positions on the track for the standing start. Let's take a look at our Porsche race analysis. 2.3-mile track. This field a little smaller than we've seen everywhere else this year because a lot of the teams and or drivers live in Florida, live in Texas, and are dealing with far bigger issues right now. But the ones that are here, they're in for a really stout race.
Yeah, expect a green flag run here today. We didn't see a caution yesterday. We expect the same thing today. Perfect conditions here.
Should be strong. Here's a look at our here's a look at our quad box featuring remarkable Replay XD cameras and just a sampling of what you're going to be able to enjoy today, and just some great looks as well, great quality, but also that's the images we get, and we're going to be using them big time here. As always, it's when the lights go out, we go racing. And on the right side, just underneath the start stand, you can see those little black boxes on the stands. There'll be a light that'll come on the back of those. And when that light goes out, the red light goes out, we go racing. And this final round, round 18 of the GTS Championship, will be underway. And it is the Panos of Ian James that will lead them, as far as he's concerned, down on the turn. All right, here we go. And that Panos, a lot of torque in it. Look at the move by Lawson Aschenbach. He timed that beautifully. Baptista trying the outside of Parkey.
Yeah, this is going to get really tight between that battle for third position between Barkey and Baptista. Baptista gives it up. Nice job there. Lawson Aschenbach really putting the pressure on Ian James right now for the lead. He looked menacing at the start. He's looking for the lead early.
I think he knows you don't want to let Ian, with the strength of that Panos these days, get out there. Look at this move. Parker Chase up the inside after Nate Stacey had gone around him. And again, Lawson showing the nose into turn 4.
A lot of defense there going down into turn 4. Barkey on Baptista. Ian James on Lawson Aschenbach. Look at this. Alex Lloyd is having a great run. He gets inside the other Cayman of Nate Stacey.
Stacey dropping a wheel at the exit of 4, and Lloyd absolutely jumped on that opportunity. Meanwhile, down to the bottom here, and Lawson right there. This Camaro is incredibly good on the brakes. We'll see if he tries something here into turn 7. I don't think he's quite close enough.
Well, as Ian alluded, now we see Derek DeBoer making a big move down to the inside. Oh, that's late.
Yep.
Too late. There was just not going to be enough room. Alex Lloyd was going to eventually go for apex, so a little mistake there by Derek, I feel.
Yeah, he certainly had a nice move on the first part of the pass, but I don't think he realized, obviously, that you were going to see him turn from that far out, and there's no way he could see him, could he?
No, that was really, during the first lap, there's so much traffic there in that hip. And look at Parker Chase making a move early. Didn't get the best start, but suddenly we're seeing a battle for the lead. Lawson Aschenbach looking threatening. He looks to the inside into the brake zone.
Now pops outside, trying to set up the exit here of turn number 12 or 11. Not quite going to get the run he wanted.
This is the battle for the manufacturer's chase as well. And
Sure
as
is.
James alluded to, there's been a little bit more weight put on that Panos overnight. And I believe the restrictor has opened up on the Camaro. It's going to be a heck of a battle today.
And now Barkey able to get a little bit more clear at this stage of both Chase and Baptista. Chase, as you said, great move on Rodrigo now up into that 4th spot.
Well, I felt that Parker Chase had a car capable of winning yesterday. He just had a poor start and had to get into a recovery mode. Eventually finished on the podium, of course. Take another look at this. Derek DeBoer down to the inside. Making a move on Stavely, I think it is, but eventually going to come into the other traffic. If it wasn't Lloyd, it was going to be Stacey.
Yep.
Either one of those Caymans was going to get clicked.
And the 007 now, DeBoer, has been assigned by race control a drive-through penalty for incident responsibility. Back to this here, as Lawson, he understands he wants to get by right now and be able to do in a way what Ian James did yesterday, get out front and then manage it from the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I spoke to Ian this morning. He said I did exactly that, just managed the tires yesterday. But it's going to be a bit more threatening today with that Camaro rod on his tail. but we've seen so many classic battles this year between these two for victory.
Well, I'll tell you, that run at Mid-Ohio was one of the absolutely best races we've called in a long time. There you see the number 62, Mark Clennon. He is your Optima Batteries best standing start winner, up 4 spots. And, of course, his wife Jamie has a group called Racing for Paws, a nonprofit that helps fund pet rescues. And they're hooked up with one here. They went and visited in Petaluma, Lily's Legacy Senior Dog Sanctuary. And after visiting it, Mark was so touched, he said, whatever I win this weekend, I bet you Mark augments that with his own. He said, we're going to dedicate it to that remarkable group that takes care of older dogs. That's pretty special.
They're quality people, so pets in Petaluma are being taken care of. That's nice.
And up the hill we go. And again, now little Parker Chase, he is kind of reeled in Barkey here. And we saw that Janetta just get stronger every lap relative to everybody else as that race unfolded yesterday, Cal.
Yeah, they did, and Chase just laid down the fastest lap of the race, and both these guys are catching the leaders right now, so I've got a feeling that maybe Ian James is stymieing Lawson Oschenbach's speed a little bit, and this is going to be a 4-way battle for the lead shortly, it looks like.
And one of the things about these GT4 cars, we talk about the GT3 cars and GT being so aero-sensitive on the nose. These are to a degree, but nowhere like that, so you can get up and run a little bit closer, and Lawson's certainly trying to figure out any way to get through.
Yeah, he's working him over. He tried the high, wide approach to the carousel. Look to see if he can just get a later apex or maybe get a run down to the brake zone here for turn 7. But so far, Ian James has been on his marks in terms of not opening the door so far.
All right, was just watching in the background. I think we've got a battle for the lead in GTSA. The 62 of Clennon had it, but Derek DeBoer, after his drive-through, has lit the fuse. There he is, and he has come right back up after his drive-through and just past Clennon and took the lead away again. He's got the red mist, and if he focuses it, we know he's got speed. But this battle up front, as you would say, Cal, getting real tasty. James leading, Oschenbach on attack, and Parker Chase coming after Barkey, and in 5th too, Rodrigo Baptista is closing in. We're going to step away. We will be right back. The battle is on at the front here in round 18 of the Pirelli World Challenge GTS Championship. Parker Chase thinking about making a late move down to the apex in 7th for 3rd. And Lawson Oschenbach all over the back of the 50 of Ian James. As we went to break, I mentioned that Derek DeBoer had served his penalty. He has not yet. He just, after that moment in his spin, he got caught up and dropped back a little bit. So they're still waiting for him to come in. But I'll tell you, what we're seeing at the front here, this is sort of reminiscent of that Mid-Ohio race, only this time it's Oschenbach on James as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah, and this we said this lead battle pack was going to increase in size. It's certainly doing that right now. Barkey has a lot of speed in certain segments of this racetrack, so he's closing in on that lead battle. Chase has got a very fast race car. Baptista, just like yesterday, just sitting there, surveying and just thinking about the big picture in the long run here in this 50-minute sprint race.
Yeah, it's pretty much become a 5-car train here, just that little gap from Oschenbach back. As we watch Ian James in this Panos climbing the hill, it's carrying our iBox suspension cam. And I'll tell you, you get this elevation change here, these leaps over blind brows, and then you got to be able to use curb. This suspension has to be able to pretty much absorb anything, isn't it?
It really does. It really is an immaculate test of the suspension system around this circuit. Certainly that group has got that Panos working very, very well. You got elevation change. You got a lot of bumps in the road here. You got the curbs that you need to be compliant with, and you can see all that. Look, Baptista running wide out of 4.
He was pushing. We saw him in yesterday's race, especially late in the race, when the grip was going off a little bit, just floating and sliding that car everywhere. He has some pretty spectacular car control.
Yeah, he's not intimidated by that corner at all. Was using all of the road and more. But look at this. This area of the racetrack where Barkey is super fast. He really closes up there.
And yeah, I mean, he really showed some speed here. And there you see the 007 of Derek DeBoer is still out. He has not responded, as I understand, out of that penalty. So Clennon and Gaples, remember, this is that 1 point difference battle. Clennon has it, and Gaples was in front of him until they got to the exit at 9A yesterday when he ran wide, and Clennon snuck through. So I'm pretty sure Tony had a restless night of sleep and was anxious to get back on track today.
Yeah, it's a great battle. Whoever finishes in front of the other will secure that runner-up position here today. So they can see each other. Certainly Clennon can see Gaples in his mirrors, and certainly Gaples can see that rear end of that McLaren. And here's the champion-elect, George Kurtz. What a season he's had. Had a coil issue yesterday. They've replaced that, put a little bit of shielding around it, I guess. It must have been an overheating issue with that to try and protect it and get it through the race today.
He had 8 straight wins coming into yesterday's race, 9 total on the season, and he already had clinched the championship. And he has been very, very fast. Because he was out so early, he didn't get any kind of representative time. Started a little bit deeper in the pack, and that car's got pace. And I think once now he's got a little free run here, it's going to be fun to see what he can do. And speaking of free run, did you see how much Barkey closed?
He can float some speed through some of these corners. I saw it up in turn 2 as well earlier in this race. Just really gapped some of the cars through that sector. Ian James looking comfortable as he heads into the carousel, not having to defend. He's got that little buffer now. He's not going to have to be so defensive. And the big question is, even though Lawson Archenbach looks a little bit more competitive today, is that weight of that car going to play a factor? Look at the run that Barkey gets there, using all of the road and a bit more. Parker Chase following him through as well. This will really affect Lawson's attack on Ian, because he's got to watch his mirrors there and watch that inside lane into these brake zones.
And Barkey is also, he's got Parker Chase right behind him. So I think that's part of his urgency, is he knows if he can get in front of Lawson. Lawson's awfully good at putting the car in the exit of turns right where you want to be able to make the run. And I think Barkey is saying, if I can get through, then he'll hold up Parker just a little bit here. Right now, he's struggling enough to just figure out a way to get by Lawson Archenbach.
This is awesome racing. Look at this. 5 different manufacturers and brands there in the top 5 positions. Barkey defends big time to Chase. He has to give it up. Barkey's in there super deep.
He only got it woed down a bit, but now look at this. Baptista going to try and undercut on Chase. But Chase, that little wider arc out, able to carry a bit more speed.
It's giving Lawson Archenbach a little bit of breathing room now.
Yeah, whenever you defend that far offline, the grip's not going to be there, and plus you got to slow a lot more than you normally would for that corner. Ooh, Baptista again, a little rotation at the back of that Porsche.
That's not a good sign, Greg, this early in the going. Yeah. You don't typically see these guys. They're on fresh Pirelli P0s here for the second race of the weekend, having to qualify and then run the first race on the first set.
Bit of a moment here for 24 Frank Gannett, teammate to Stavely, and the Ian Lacey racing Gannett just missed completely the exit there at 9.
He's having a good run, though. He's running a really good scrap as Derek DeBoer now served that penalty. Saw him last night over at his team boss's house celebrating the victory yesterday. Superb performance.
It was.
The move he put on Lawson Archenbach up into turn 1 was just magic. So let's see how far he can rebound. He really needs a reset, Greg. He really needs a full course yellow to try and get him back with the pack. It's going to be a tough road to try and get that buffer back.
And again, Barkey now got a good exit. He's right up alongside. Not quite enough. I think just that little bit better torque of the V8 of the Chevrolet Camaro GT4 able to keep Lawson in front. But for how long? Well, we're going to find out on the other side of a quick break. All right, well, we're going to be laying out here for our CBS Sports Network coverage, so with you here just on the web. And well, I'll tell you, this battle here and the pressure that is being heaped on Lawson, he's obviously having to defend just a little bit here and there. And Ian James, he's going to take advantage of that.
He is, and with these small balance of performance adjustments that were made last night, certainly for Ian James, he's probably got a slightly different platform underneath him. He's got to adjust to that, so seems to be doing a good job of that. Stem the tide, the attack that Lawson Archenbach put on early. But this is a great little scrap here. I think that's one of the best battles we've seen all season long. And again, Barkey down to the inside. What a move! Can he make it stick? That's going to be an acceleration run, a drag race off of turn 4. That was beautiful, floating the speed through 3B and then diving down to the inside in the brake zone. Great racing.
Now, he's been just carrying immense speed up through over the brows of 2 and 3A. And that time he surprised Lawson, but Lawson just had enough left to be able to do something. Look at this battle.
This is for the lead in GTSA.
Oh, and Clennon running a little wide. That might let Kurtz through. No, Clennon now. Kurtz, the front end gave up there.
Gables is through.
Oh, look at this. Chase on Barkey.
Well, Chase has been strong as well, but look at this acceleration run side by side. What awesome racing. Giving each other just enough room to keep it clean.
I'm not sure you could get a piece of 28-pound paper between those two cars.
He's
right
in
there.
deep, he's too deep, he's wide, he's a little out of rhythm right now. Baptista's going to get a run on these guys as well.
And look at the cutback move by the 19 at Chase. Coming up, he's got the run going, but Barkey defends beautifully. That may have, yeah, here comes Baptista, you're right.
This is really good racing between these guys. They know each other's tendencies, having raced all season long together. And they put it all into their basket right now. What a race we're seeing here as Ian James looks comfortable at the front. Aschenbach has gapped himself a little bit from that pack behind him.
Ian James making a little bit more of a gap appear as Aschenbach has been under attack from Barkey, Chase, and Baptista. And up and over the rise. This is an area where Martin Barkey has been carrying immense speed and actually took a run at Lawson Aschenbach a lap or so ago. Lawson has been able to respond a little bit, but in part it's because Chase started attacking Barkey, and suddenly he had to worry more about his mirrors.
Yeah, it's just been an amazing battle up amongst this top five different brands, as we said, represented right now. They all have slightly different performance characteristics around this race circuit. But Martin Barkey tried to put a move on Lawson Aschenbach a couple of laps ago, which was simply magic. Didn't quite pull it off, but that would have been the move of the season, I think.
And look how quickly Barkey has been able to reel Lawson back in again. He dropped off. I mean, he was a good 15 car lengths back, and now he is right on his 6 again.
Well, all season long last year, we saw Brett Sandberg take the title with this platform, but we knew that had great cornering ability, very lightweight, but not the horsepower, and they've really tried to change the dynamic. And now at the end of the year, it's really paying dividends in terms of matching the performance around the race circuit. It's not such an ebb and flow as we saw before. It's got good handling ability, equal straightaway speed as well. That's allowing Martin Barkey to have a lot of fun. Spoke to him this weekend. He said, "I'm just loving my racing this season."
Well, and even though he hadn't had a podium, he has put on some great shows. He's been fast, had poles, fast laps and the like. And so he certainly has it. But with the change that they have made in how they approach the BOP in that car, you kind of had to relearn it. And also the engineers had to learn how to tweak the setup, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and then with the extra weight, certainly that has an effect on the handling, but also tire management. It's still a pretty skinny tire on that crossbar, so they've worked well at that. Andrew, their engineer, and the whole squad there at Mantella Autosport do a brilliant job getting that balance to the race car for Barkey to be able to put in these sort of performances.
You know what? Lawson is closing in again just a little bit.
Big shot here. Alien. Have to think there was maybe a touch there as they come through. It's on the front straightaway.
That is obviously a full course yellow. I mean, look at how those are heavy 8,000-pound blocks of concrete, and he's moved a couple of them.
Yeah.
See if we can see what happened here. This is coming in now to turn 11.
Stavely, Young to the inside. Just think there's going to be contact here right there. Oh, the Ginetta had no idea he was there. Tried to set up on the Cayman and just went straight into his path. That's a poor move there.
Yep. Frank was trying to do the undercut to get back by Carter. Yeah, had no clue. And boy, that was a substantial hit. And as you ride here, you can see that he had no anticipation that was coming, did he?
He did, and my mistake there, not Stavely, obviously his teammate involved in that incident. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't intentionally, just didn't read the Sin having a good run coming off turn 11.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a matter of track awareness, and he just wasn't aware that Sin had that run here. As this ends up now under the caution, you take a look at what's unfolding in the GTS category as things come down a little bit. Gapel's still able to hang on to the lead over Clennon and Kurtz, then the 7 of Carter Young. But talking about Derek DeBoer needing the reset, this is exactly what he wanted. My only concern is how quick can they get those K-rails back in place.
Yeah, it's going to be a big fix there, but we've got 32 minutes on the board, and there's a lot of speed in that Aston Martin for the TRG group to come back here on their home circuit. Brilliant victory yesterday. Now they've got another opportunity to do something.
All right, well, while we were under a full course caution, we're going to sneak away and get another break in. We will be right back with you here at the Sonoma Grand Prix for the Pirelli World Challenge GTS Championship season finale. Now back with you here on the web, and that is the best news of all. Any kind of a side impact like that, you always get very, very concerned. And to see Bob Michaelian out of the car, taking the helmet off, I'm sure he's a bit rattled, but he's just looking at him right there. You see him shake his head like, yeah, I'm okay. So that was a big hit. And of course in California, the name Michaelian, you always wonder, and yes indeed, that is Jim Michaelian's son, of course, very connected to the fabulous Long Beach Grand Prix. And Bob, pretty good racer in his own right.
He really is. They love their racing. Jim does a little bit of racing as well. He's been a regular at the Rolex 24 for a number of years. And Bob Michaelian's putting some strong performances in this form of competition over the last handful of years. So shame to see him out, and that was a sudden one. I'm sure he did not expect to see that Ginetta suddenly fly across his path there.
Yeah, and I think, you know, obviously Frank had, even though he made the mistake, he was carrying good speed by the time he got there and thought, well, I can get back around Carter here, and just was not aware that Bob had got a good, as you said, exit out of that turn and come after it. Watch this move once again. This is what we're talking about, the speed that Martin Barkey carries right there through 3A, and then this surprise move, Gal.
Yeah, just to put it all together and float the speed and immediately look for the opportunity to get down to the inside. He gets up on the curb, which hurts his ability to get off the corner. He just didn't want to get into the side of Lawson, so really good, clean racing. I think if he had been a little bit more aggressive, he would have probably rubbed on him a little bit and maybe had a better run or a chance to make the pass stick.
So you're saying if that had happened maybe in the last 5 minutes,
oh yeah,
he might have gone after it a little bit more aggressively.
It was super though.
It was a great move.
Really nice.
Yeah, well, he's shown a lot of that with his skills in that Mantella Autosport crossbow carrying the MBRP, which is Martin Barkey Racing Performance Power Sports machine. So just doing a great season here. We understand that the 24 of Gannett is going to have to make a stop in the pits for incident responsibility.
That's a shame.
It is.
It wasn't intentional, but he just really didn't recognize that the sin was in the mix as well. And for Frank Gannett, this is his strongest performance we've seen this year. So kind of finding his feet in this form of competition. He was really competitive here today. So it's a shame to see that happen, and certainly his day will be cut short.
And there he is. And you know, I mean, he is such a nice guy that he just feels absolutely crushed for having caused that. Certainly not intentional, obviously. And be interesting to see here now. You know, we talked about it. One, we've got the 22 of Lloyd, who was really looking racy. It took him a little while to adjust to the car, I think. And he said also to the track limits, you know, he said, I'm used to running where if it's paved, you can get to run on it. And he said, I had to adjust that. But also, that's not the full GT4 homologated Porsche Cayman. It's just it's the Club Sport, but not the MR.
Right.
So it's a little different BOP package. And he's just really learning it. He was real racy. Then obviously he and DeBoer got together, and they're together now. Yeah,
expect both those guys to cut through the pack a little bit. I think certainly Derek DeBoer has shown tremendous pace. He's at a fastest lap of 142.5 compared to the fastest lap of the race of a 142.3. So he is right there with the same pace as the leaders right now, as we see that Racer's Edge Sin getting dragged away. Not a great finish to the season for that group. No, not at all. Unfortunately, Jason Bell, who is at one point led the GTSA championship, and his black #2 entry for that team was one of those drivers that had to deal with some hurricane incidents and the like, and wasn't able to make it here. So it was all resting on Bob here. Some of the team as well, some of the mechanics were involved down there, and I think Steve Cameron has actually loaned some of his mechanics to that group to get through this race weekend, obviously based here locally and not competing this weekend. So the paddock is a very friendly place when you suddenly get into some drama and some hardship times, and everyone tries to lend a hand.
There's something special sometimes about the camaraderie in a racing paddock. I mean, when that green flag drops, you want to beat the doors off of that guy as hard as you can. But other than that time, you know, if people need help, you do it. And it's amazing to me the number of times you'll see a team loan somebody, people, personnel, equipment, or whatever, knowing that if they get it right, they could beat them. And it's like, but that's why we're here.
That's right. You want to compete against the best. You want everyone to have a good solid chance here, and this is going to be really interesting when we do get back to green here today to see what can happen. I mean, certainly Barkey has shown tremendous pace, as has Parker Chase. Lawson Archimag's probably had a chance now to cool off his tires a little bit. Can he get recharged and put the pressure back on Ian James? James going for a remarkable 7th victory this season. Boy, of course, since mid-year they have been on fire, working through the development process with that Panosana Avezzano.
Well, the interesting thing with Lawson, with that restrictor change overnight, giving him a little bit more power. One, this isn't a track that's a huge straight line track. The Camaro is fairly agile, but it is a little heavier, so this caution helps him get life back in those Pirelli P0s to be able to push him. But that restrictor is going to give him a little bit better launch, I would think, out of the tight stuff. So, you know, we saw how good he was those first 4 or 5 laps all over the back of Ian James.
Yeah, but if we think back to that GT race yesterday with Pat Long, thinking about the big picture, this manufacturer's title is so important. As it sits right now, GM would clinch it.
Right.
If he suddenly gets racy with Ian James and goes flying off the road, that's a big problem, because they're not going to secure enough points here. So you wonder if that's into the back of his mind a little bit. But you know that he's not liking winning this Drivers' Championship on the back of just one victory this year. So he'd love to pull off this final win of the season.
I was going to say, he has got to be fed up right to here with points racing this year. And if he's got a shot at a win, he wants it. But also, there's a reason he's in that Chevrolet Camaro GT4. It's because he's highly rated by Chevrolet. And he understands the role. He's the consummate pro, no question about it.
Yeah, GM want to be picking up that trophy tonight at the banquet, so that will certainly be on his mind right now.
And then look at the back here. Just was watching, and Gaples, Clennon, Kurtz, Young, and then Lloyd and DeBoer. And Lloyd, the only one of those that's the pro, who just got caught up, obviously, when DeBoer made that pass. But here they are, and I mean, I think that Aston Martin, when we go back to green, that thing is going to just fly.
Yeah, no, he's certainly got a lot of pace, it seems, even after the drive-through penalty. He was laying down very fast lap times. We've got the 2 Flying Lizard boys who are very close in the championship coming into this final race. Baptista has the 4th position by just 3 points over Nate Stacey, who sits right behind him right now. So Nate's run some good competitive lap times within a couple of tenths of his teammate.
You know, an interesting, if you're a conspiracy theorist here, Derek DeBoer finishing 4th yesterday, and he was racy, but there's sort of a series policy that if you get a 3rd overall as an AM competitor, you get bumped up. And he was 4th, but he was back a little bit, so it really wasn't, I don't think that was it at all, but he certainly is proving that maybe next year when he comes to the championship, he'll be a full-on GTS competitor.
Well, they've thrown every effort at this entry this weekend. Kevin Buckler's taken Derek under his wing, literally, in terms of teaching him all the tricks of the trade. Kevin's had so much success here at the Sonoma Raceway circuit over the years. It's their local team. He's just down the road near Petaluma, and they know how to get a car around this circuit very quickly, as they certainly showcased here yesterday with that victory in the GTSA division.
Yep, and off to the right there, you see those flashing lights. The 45 Racers at Sin R1 GT4 is behind the barrier, but it's the barrier that's the issue. But they've done a nice job of getting that fairly close to fixed, it looks like.
Yeah, we should have a good chunk of racing here still to go. I think there's going to be a great battle there for GTSA as well. Gaples has it, Clennon's right behind him, Kurtz is in the frame.
And this is great news. Just heard from race control that Bob McCallion was just observed in the medical center and has been released. He is okay. So that's fantastic news. And boy, does that speak to the mandatory safety requirements of all these cars these days.
Yeah, and the hands device and everything else.
Yep.
They'll will give everyone a great chance to survive a big hit like that.
Just saw as the cars came by the front straight a big black flag shown to the 24 of Gannett. He has not yet made his call into the pits, and you're allowed, I think, 3 laps or so to make your case, and I think he's up against it here, so they were kind of urgently letting him know. I'm sure the team is pleading, but you know,
they've stopped scoring him by the looks of it. It's shown him 2 laps down.
Okay. Here's that battle in GTS. Be interesting to see how quick Lloyd can clear him, and of course DeBoer right there. Still have well over 20 minutes to go, so if this wall repair, and I think the pace car has been asked to even slow it down a little bit more. You're starting to see some urgency and
close
cars scrubbing on the light on those tires, trying to get them clean. I think you see the guy directing right there going.
You know, the pins dropped in.
Yep.
Like these little hooks to align those with.
The only thing you don't want on those walls is what they call a leading edge, where the next block is sticking out a little bit, because if you hit it, it'll just peel stuff off the car. So once they get that in place where there's no leading edge, it's all overlap, then you can go race. And it looks like we may be there.
I'm not sure we're going to go this lap, but they're close.
Yep, they sure are.
Better get on their toes in case they get there.
The lights are still on, so looks like we may be one more lap here.
Stacy tried to create a little bit of a gap to try and run through these corners with a bit more speed. Tire temp should be fine. It's all about not getting any pickup right now, just trying to scrub those tires.
And we get confirmation from race control. Next time by, we should be going back to green here, so we should have a good 17-18 minutes of racing yet to unfold. Everybody a bit refreshed. These awesome Pirelli P0 tires cooled off just a little bit. I think the 2 guys that are licking their chops there is that 22 Hawk Performance de Vilbiss Porsche of Alex Lloyd, and the 007 Aston Martin of Derek DeBoer. The number 24 of Gannett now heeds the call and comes down into pit lane. We're going to pause for just a second. We will be back with our CBS Sports Network call. We're anticipating picking it up over in the turn 7 area. Lights are out on the pace car. We are going to be going back to green flag racing here at the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix of Sonoma, the season finale for the GTS Championship, final race of the year. And we are looking forward to this one. Now, we've been under a long caution, and just in case you missed it, we want to let you know what happened. And it was a comprehensive and hard hit by the number 45 of Bob McCallion into the barriers in that red Sin right behind these lead 2 up front.
Carter Young there, get to the inside of Gannett. Gannett tries to come back at him, try and set it up. He doesn't realize the Sin is there, just gets into the path of McCallion. Huge impact there with the concrete barriers, as you can see. Major damage to the machine. Here's another look at it. I don't think Frank Gannett had any idea that Sin was there to his flank, was just trying to set up down this front straightaway and clouts him big time.
Listen to it. That's a solid hit. And, you know, the GTSA category, those are the less experienced drivers. They're not the pro drivers and the like. And Frank's relatively new, and that's just part of the track awareness thing that you learn through racecraft. Field now, though, as we're getting ready to go into the VP Racing Fuels acceleration zone. And your leader, Ian James, once he's in that zone, can let it fly. And he does, Cal. But did Aschenbach time it? Does he have a better run?
Well, a great restart there by Ian James. Lawson Aschenbach goes, he looks to the inside.
What a move!
Aschenbach to the front. Ian James comes back at him, but Lawson Aschenbach has cleared him. James in trouble now, scrambling for grip. Barkey's all over him.
Well, I guess Lawson decided the best way to get the manufacturer championship for Chevy is win this thing.
That was a mega move there. Ian tried to protect, but couldn't get the job done. Now he's got to try and regroup here. Chase to the inside on Barkey. Side by side. Oh, there's contact.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, and Chase was well established on the inside. Yeah.
I think that's down to Martin. They're just really not giving him quite enough racing room. That's a shame, because this has been a fabulous battle here today.
We wanted to see this play out to the end with that group up front. Martin has been so impressive and fast.
So Lad Baptista up to the 3rd position. Stacy up to 4th. Stabley's now got a good run and going up into the top 5.
Yeah, and unfortunately that badly affected, of course, Chase. That is really unfortunate here. So changes the dynamic a little bit. And look at this. Carter Young not wanting to let the 007 by. He knows that's for position.
Yeah, I think for Derek now, he's got a fast race car. Just try and pick them off one at a time. Be patient. But you can see that lead trio leaping away in front of him. But he's up to the 5th position now in class. Talking about Derek DeBoer. He now goes down at the inside of Carter Young. Gets that position. Carter Young has to give it up there. Someone's dropping the wheels there coming out of the chicane.
Yeah, big time. We're getting a report now that, not a surprise, the 80 of Barkey will be going into the pits through a drive-through, and here comes Kurtz down underneath Clennon. That is for the 2nd spot in GTSA. Kurtz gets through.
This is huge for Tony Gaples, trying to get that runner-up position in the championship. That gives him a little bit of breathing room as we now see Alex Lloyd side by side with Carter Young as they cross the stripe up into turn 1. What a corner this is. All of the bumps there, high compression loading on that right side of the car.
Able to make it work. Here's another look at the incident in question here.
Well, Chase is right alongside him. I'm not sure if Barkey realized how far down he'd got, and Barkey just goes for the apex. No way was that going to work, and he puts Parker Chase off for a ride there. He loses multiple positions, so he's going to get a penalty for that one. It's a shame, because it's been such a great race until that point between those guys.
Yeah, and Martin had been so on form this week, and it's just a shame to see that develop. And, of course, obviously it affected Parker Chase badly, as he's now dropped way, way back as well. And he had a car that I think was capable of getting to the front, maybe.
He certainly did. Derek DeBoer now looking to the inside on Mark Clennon. Does a nice job there. Gets to the inside and allows Kurtz to get through the apex. Nice timing on that one. 2 cars ahead of him. Can Derek DeBoer take this TRG Aston Martin to the front once again?
And then behind those guys is the recovering 19 of Parker Chase. He's not going to be showing a whole lot of patience, I don't think.
No, he's going to be trying to cut through this traffic as fast as he can. He really needs another reset. Hopefully the car is healthy. I don't think it was a major hit. He just had to take to the weeds there. Lost numerous positions, obviously. Aschenbach looking comfortable up front, but we've still got some time on the board, Greg. Maybe those tires will start to go away a little bit on Lawson Aschenbach, as he has the lead of this motor race over Ian James. Parker Chase now trying to make that move on Clennon.
So it's going to be interesting to see who comes up and through, and you can see DeBoer already working on Kurtz, Chase working on Clennon, lots unfolding up front. Aschenbach up by almost 2 seconds now over Ian James, but Baptista is in close concert. This one's getting interesting, and we're going to be back in just a moment. But as we step away, we want to remind you, if you want to know what's unfolding with this championship in preparation for 2018 in the offseason, just check it out on social media. First of all, world-challenge.com, the Pirelli World Challenge site, and there are tremendous links, lots of information. You can also, of course, go to Facebook. Just look for the Pirelli World Championship fan page. On Twitter, just look for the handle @WC Racing. And for all things racing, take a moment and check out Motor Trend On Demand, which includes all of our archives of the webcasts of this season's races and previous season's races. You're going to want to check it out.
Just saw Martin Barkey take his drive-through penalty. Now there's the battle for position. De Boer now up to the second position. He's got to try and chase down our leader, Tony Gables. What a day Tony's having, but he's got a very fast Aston Martin now right behind him.
He's going to have to hang on, and we're going to hang on for just a moment. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Lawson Aschenbach has been able to ease away and build himself a little bit of a margin. Last time it was 1.7. This time it's about the same, 1.5. But the interesting thing is Baptista is coming after Ian James right now.
He is, but I have to wonder on this longish run here to the checkered flag, will Lawson Aschenbach back up a little bit? He had a chance to cool off those Pirelli P0s. He made the attack early, recognized he had to try and make it happen as soon as he could. Brilliant move he put on Ian James up into turn one. Ian gave him just enough racing room. But will this Panos be able to catch him before we see the checkered flag here this afternoon on the season?
Well, right now, I would think that Lawson Aschenbach's best friend might be the young Brazilian Baptista, if he can get up and worry James a bit here.
Yeah, just compromise his lines a little bit and affect his lap time. That's what he'll be looking for. But Ian's feisty. He's going to want this final victory. He was talking about it on the pre-grid. The fact that there had been some changes overnight. He knew he was going to have a battle on his hand. And this is not only a battle for victory, but also a battle for the manufacturer's title.
And you like to win the championship any way you can, but it's sure nice to claim one, whether it's driver or manufacturer, with a win in the last race.
Oh, there's no better. Oh, there's the battle for the lead in GTSA. De Boer has caught Tony Gables. They're side by side through the S's. That is tight. There's a touch. Big impact. Oh. Wow, that was really close racing there. I didn't think it was going to work, and there's major carnage now. That was a big impact for Tony.
Yeah, immediate full course yellow. Sorry, Cal. Yeah, that was another big impact. And you know, you can run side by side through those corners, but you have to allow both cars to have just enough space. We've seen it happen, just not happening that time.
Yeah, the cars are going to slip and slide a little bit through there when you're in that closer proximity to one another, and they just didn't give each other enough racing room. I thought it was going to get ugly. It just had those signs, didn't it, Ray?
It did. It did. And that, of course, well, let's take another look here from this angle.
It just sticks it in there, yeah. I mean, should have probably just been a little bit more patient on De Boer's part.
Yeah.
Recognized he caught Tony really quickly. A lot of time left on the board. Just puts it down to the inside there.
Here's a good telltale. Watch it here. So it looks like
Tony about half car length ahead. And as they come off, Derek just needs a bit of room to set up. Otherwise, he's just going to spare off towards that corner station if he doesn't try and turn.
Boy, and there's a serious debris field down there.
It's a massive wreck. Look at the state of that Camaro.
Yeah, Tony having a chat right now, you can see, with the emergency response vehicle. So, oh boy, red flag and checker flag coming out at the same time. Obviously, this is a time-certain schedule. There's other races yet to unfold here. And apparently it was adjudged that the cleanup in that area, not just for the debris from the car, but again, moving those big K-rails, apparently they've decided that it's just going to take more time than is left in the window that we are allotted for this season finale for the GTS race. That's the best news, to see Tony Gables out of the car. Sure, he's a little bit rattled, but boy, that's so good to see.
Yeah, he was a little bit gingerly there, looking at his feet and his ankles, so hopefully he's okay. That was a big incident.
You see Bob Thompson there, our safety specialist that rides on board that Cadillac Escalade, official medical vehicle over there, having a chat with him right away. And so for Lawson Aschenbach, it's not the way you want to win it, particularly when it's your teammate that's had just a significant impact over there.
Teammate, team boss. This secures the manufacturer's title for Chevrolet, and they don't want to see it with one of their cars on the side of the road.
All right, so as the field gingerly working through the debris field from the incident here, as this one is essentially over with the red flag and the checker flag coming out at the same time. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back to sort things out for you here at the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix of Sonoma. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. And as you can see, the Cadillac ATSV safety vehicle leading the field into pit lane, where they will officially pick up the checkered flag as they come past, and that will be a second win on the season for Lawson Aschenbach, and one that I'm sure will be a bit muted in terms of its celebration, knowing that his teammate Tony Gaples was the reason for the caution in terms of the incident. But nonetheless, an important win, and an important win in terms of manufacturers' championship points. You know, that's what he was running for today.
Absolutely, and he wanted to get another one in the win column as well. It's been a frustrating season despite the championship and success, so he'll be happy, but it's a double-edged sword when you see a team boss on the side of the road with a severely damaged car to finish the year.
For Ian James, another incredible run, his 10th podium on the season. And when you think about the first few races where they struggled to finish in that car, and he ends up with 6 wins and 10 podiums, that's a pretty remarkable season. Rodrigo Baptista, another solid run, and that should solidify for him the 4th on the points easily, with yet another top 5, his 10th top 5. But Lawson Aschenbach crawls out of that beautiful number 10 Black Dog Chevrolet Camaro. And Lawson always gets out and gives a little bit of a kiss to the car. Here's the celebration for a win, and he knows a manufacturer championship for the company that he drives for. So all in all, a very special day for Lawson Aschenbach. And as soon as that helmet comes off, Jeff Lepper is standing there. Jeff, not maybe the way he wanted to end it, but it did end with a win.
Absolutely, ending with that win here. Second on the season, clinching the manufacturers championship for Chevrolet as well. I know concern for your team owner there did get out of them, walked into the ambulance, he as well, but congratulations, race win here on the season, number 2.
I mean, first and foremost, I got to thank Pratt & Miller for building a strong race car, because, you know, it sounded like that was a pretty big hit. I'm happy Tony's okay. You know, he's not just a teammate, he's one of my best friends, and, you know, I'm just really proud to be a part of this program, and without him, we wouldn't be able to be doing this right now, so I'm happy he's all right. But, man, what a race. You know, yesterday we struggled, I'm not going to lie, and I knew today if it weren't going to have any caution, we were going to struggle again. I mean, that was going to be an important aspect of the race, and fortunately we got a caution. I was able to cool the tires down, and at that point I knew I had one shot at it, and that was to try to get him on the outlap, or the green flag lap. And I cleaned my tires off a little bit better, and I just sort of stuck it in there and, you know, went for it. You know, wasn't turning back at that point, so really happy with the win. I knew they were going to come back strong at the end of the race there, so I'm glad. You know, I'm glad we were able to hold off. But more importantly, you know, I really got to thank everybody at Chevrolet and Pratt & Miller, and especially Black Dog Speed Shop. You know, this was a big undertaking to do this program this year. To be able to come in, sweep everything, manufacturers, team, and driver, is a dream come true. It's any driver's dream to be a part of that. And I can't thank all the support that we get from everybody that's been involved in this program enough. Just really pleased with everything right now, and you know, we're gonna celebrate tonight.
It's easy to sweep all that when you have a 5-time Pirelli World Challenge champion with Lawson Aschenbach.
Yeah, I mean, it's just remarkable what he's done. His 3rd GTS championship. He won the GT championship as a rookie in his first year in the John Groom Racing FAF Porsche back in the day, and that opened some eyes up. And he has delivered every year since in some category. Let's go back and take a look at that incident. And there's an irony here that the red flag might just give Tony this win, but here's the hit.
Yeah, it just looked like too close there, a very high-speed section of the racetrack. You got to be careful to try and go side by side there, and they hadn't really rehearsed it. I mean, Derek DeBoer caught Tony very, very quickly. He's got a very fast race car, but right at this point is a critical aspect there. There's just not enough room. Those S's really tighten up at that point. And when you get contact at that speed, you can see the consequences.
Yeah, it was a significant hit, and here's the tails away angle of it here.
There's really no place for either one of them to go, so you're kind of going into no man's land there. It funnels down there right at that critical part. And I think for Derek, if he had to do it over again, I'm sure he'd think, you know, I had a fast race car. If I'd just been patient, you know, maybe I could have done it on the next lap, and it may cost him the victory, because they may revert to the previous lap that would give the victory in GTS AM to Tony Gaples.
Yeah, waiting for confirmation on that. But meanwhile, let's get back down to Victory Circle, and I think Jeff might be with our GTSA champion.
No confirmation needed for George Kurtz to be the champion for their GTSA category. Superb year, 8 wins straight, 9 on the season. Congratulations.
Thanks so much. I mean, all the credit goes to the team, GMG, CrowdStrike, James Safronis, and Chris, and David, and Hector. I mean, just did a fantastic job, and just amazing season.
Tell us, when you got into that drive, you got in that streak, were you just business as usual, hoping that wasn't going to end? I mean, it was a superb driving on your part as well, sometimes even in the top 5 of the overall.
Yeah, it was just magical this year. We hit it right, and I was lucky enough to have a great car and a great team, and it was one of those things to be really my first year out, full season, and be able to finish as well as we did. It's just unbelievable. I couldn't be happier. Well,
Silicon Valley Entrepreneur of the Year, George Kurtz. It's going to be a party here tonight in the home Bay area.
That's true. He got that award, too. So it's been a pretty good season. And I'll tell you what, he's even led a couple of races overall at times. So it's been a magical year for George Kurtz. All right, folks, we're going to wrap things up here with our coverage on our global webcast. Thank you so much for joining us all season long as the GT and GTS championships have unfolded from an absolutely stellar schedule of great racetracks and phenomenal racing. It's been an honor to be able to bring it to you. We do want to remind you, of course, there's one more round for the Pirelli World Challenge Series as a whole in about a month. It is the Touring Car season finale weekend, where we will be joined with the SRO Intercontinental GT Championship Cup. 8-hour race coming from Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, so make sure and join us for our webcast from that event. The touring car racing this year has been amazing, and you're not going to want to miss that, and the 8-hour is going to be a lot of fun as well. But for the GT and GTS championships, on behalf of Calvin Fish and Jeff Lepper, it has been, as I said, an absolute honor to be able to bring all this to you once again. Thanks for joining us all season long. We look forward to doing it again with you in 2018. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Highlights as well, right? Okay. Do I have time for a quick potty break? Are you going to be a few minutes? Okay.
So we're closed off the web. We can talk on over the headsets, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Cool. Sure. Get the back of my stuff done at the end here. Okay. So the hard charger, you told me, who was that? 11, Gaples. Number 11 plus 7. Just want to confirm he started from 13th. Okay. Motul Fast Lap was Parker Chase, 142.349. I don't need to say the time, right? Great season. All right. All right, I'm ready to do
Clear from stream. All right.
I'm ready to do my stuff at the end here. I'll just pick it up with VP Fuels. All right. And now let's move into a couple more of our highly prestigious specialty awards. The VP Fuels Hard Charger Award goes to Tony Gaples in that number 11 Black Dog Speed Shop Chevrolet Camaro, up 7 spots over the course of the race. Just a great race, obviously, ending not the way he wanted it to, but a superb charge to the field. Our Motul Fast Lap Award winner goes to the youngster, number 19, Parker Chase, in that Ginetta. That was a fabulous run. Of course, a little bit of an incident dropped him back a little bit, but what a charge he was able to put on. So that's going to wrap things up here for the 2017 season in the Pirelli World Challenge GTS Championship. Obviously, a bit of an off-season now to unfold, teams to prepare their programs, and we certainly hope that you return and join us for our programs as we bring you the coverage of the championship in 2018 with another absolutely fabulous schedule. And we, of course, want to wrap things up with with a huge congratulations to Lawson Aschenbach for his 5th championship in Pirelli World Challenge competition in GTS and in GTSA. Congratulations to George Kurtz, his first full season as a GTSA competitor, and a dominant one at that, and champion at the end of it all. Congratulations to all of our competitors, and again, we look forward to bringing everything to you in 2018. For Calvin and Jeff and our entire CBS Sports Network crew, I'm Greg Creamer. In association with WC Vision, this has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. He just put his headset on. Do you have the points figured out yet?
Oh. Yeah, they're not going to do a graphic, I guess, right?
Oh, well, I'm not. Well, but they might not have the. For this, since they posted, they may not have a graphic ready.
Are we going to see a graphic, or I can't read these.
Here. All right, give us 1 sec here because these the points that they give us are so minuscule. I'm going to find my my file on it, which I've got right here, and then Cal can calculate. All right, here we go. GTS. Aschenbach with the win should have 366.
Okay.
James started with 2, so with a second should be 303, including his pole.
Okay.
Baptista should have.
Barkey still, right?
Barkey, where did he finish?
He finished. Did they do it overall or just in?
I think that's overall. So
13th.
So 13th would be 2. Oh man, this is small even here. Barkey 13th should be 267.
Okay.
Baptista was third, which would be 257.